Well, good morning, greetings and salutations to the 310 tribe. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. If you can see and hear me and the audio is okay, give me a thumbs up. Try and get some feedback on this. Let's see. Oh, yay. All right. Make sure I'm streaming where I'm supposed to be streaming. Videos, shorts, live.
I'm used to it.
Okay, that's off. I think there must be a little bit of a delay. Let me double check with Facebook real quick. And guys, you'll have to bear with me on this because this is going to be, I'm going to be here in the hallway of the Prophecy Watchers Conference, and it's going to get noisy, and especially as presentations let out, there'll be, obviously people coming and going. So how is everybody doing today? Good morning. Maranatha, Carla, Rainey, Tim, Comiskey, Sir Pierce Seville, Rita Spellman. Sorry, there's a cat on my lap. Hey, good morning. I remember you. Keegan. Hey, Keegan. Diana. Let's see, who else? Melissa. This is going to, hey, good morning, Dan. Jules, this is just going to be kind of a on-running commentary this morning. And as folks want to pop in and out, they can. I've got an extra chair set up. And I'm trying to get the logistics. I had some mic, Olivier loaned me his mic set up, but I couldn't get the technology. The technology escaped me trying to get that all set up with the laptop. I was just wanting to plug it in and then use that as the microphone or the headset or whatever. And anyways, it was one of those last minute things I didn't think about too much. Getting ready for the dentist. Oh, I'm sorry. So last night was pretty awesome. Got here by the time I got everything done and unpacked and just everything situated, and I had to take my daughter to go get a bathing suit and go get food. And by the time I got back, I was only able to catch Tom Hughes' presentation and then Alex Newman's. But happy birthday to Tom Hughes. Hey, Brooke, I see you. Gerard, Kenny, Kathy, Kylie. Hey, Kylie. Clementine. Oh yeah, Tom Hughes' birthday. So today is Tom Hughes' birthday. So if you can, shoot him a message on his Facebook or however you connect with him and tell him happy birthday. And his presentation last night was phenomenal. And then same with Alex Newman. Really great presentation. But I figure there's 45 minutes per presentation. So mine tonight will be at 45 minutes. And it feels like you're screaming through a presentation, trying to get through. But I think it really forces you to go back and refine your material. I've gone back to mine and just taken out tons of verbiage and stuff I would have talked about. Stacy asks, is the live stream tickets still available? I think so. If you go to the Telegram, do you have Telegram? Here, let me drop this in there. I don't know anything about how the live streaming works and purchasing and all this stuff. I'm really rather ignorant on this stuff, but let me see, copy. I think I don't think I can even show that on here, the chat. Yeah, it's not going to show up as an image. Let's see here. I think if you click on that. If I can go with the reflection, you should be able to get directly to the registration page, but I'm not 100% certain. But it should still be going on. You should be able to register for the live stream, and I think you get it for like 30 days after. So if you don't, because there's so many presenters here going through their topics and stuff. So I think while I'm going tonight, like Billy Crone's going to be speaking at the dinner. If I'm looking at the at the schedule correctly. Hey, Kristen. Healthy Decora. How much is it? Gloria asked. I don't know. I honestly, you may even have it longer than 30 days. You may have it like 40 days, 45 days or whatever, but the presentations are, always going to be top notch, and there's so many to choose from. There's so many different topics going on. Kylie said, I thought it was 100. It might be, or that may be the registration for the conference itself. So I'm not entirely sure. Live stream tickets are 75. That sounds about right. But if you can, if the Lord leads, I try all my stuff that I try and do. My stuff is all free. It has been since 2011. And that goes for my art. If there's like artwork that I have, if you have a website out there, or if you have a, get my glasses right now. If you have a website, social media page, whatever, and you guys like the art that I do or something that I put out, you guys are more than welcome to use my art. I don't, obviously I just create that off of AI and stuff, but if you guys are more than welcome to take it and use it for your articles or whatever that you use. So anything that I have is yours. Is same for my short stories, my articles. The only thing I'd ever ask for articles and stuff, if I wrote it, just quote me, because when I go off somebody else's work, I quote them, because I want to make sure they get the credit for it. So Ghoster, yeah, there's a number of people have told me that they were wanting to come in and stop by and chit chat. Elizabeth from Belfast. Hey, Gary's here somewhere. I don't know. I haven't seen him this morning, but I imagine he'll stop by. He's supposed to stop by. Britt Gillette, JB Hickson, a whole bunch of folks. So thank you, Rainey. God bless you. Belfast. I would love to go back to Belfast. I had such a great time there. I feel like if the minute I step foot in the UK, man, they're gonna just arrest me. Keir Starmer is on a rampage. So what do you guys think about Canada? I'm hearing mixed things, but I'm hearing that they're getting ready to break away or ask the US to recognize them either as a new state or something. I don't know. Pete restaurant name for lunch. Hey, Linda. Sir Pierce, I don't understand the question. Jane, I can only afford free things. I hear you. Man, it's tough all over. Morning. So I'm in a good spot in the hallway here. This is a lot of traffic through here. It'll just get loud. I'm in Canada. I don't watch the news because it's too stressful. Yeah. Well, they got the 4 provinces. You've got Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and I want to say British Columbia. And I think out of those, the Saskatchewan's probably the least likely. Stacy, okay. Yeah. $75. You get like 6 months to watch it or something. But interesting about Canada, and Alex Newman was discussing last night about the way that their plan has always been to go through regionalism. So, they've come out and talked about wanting to do a new world order, a one world order, one world government, and everywhere that's been tried, it's not worked. And so what they're doing is it's kind of like the creeping style of coming into it. So they'll start doing these economic alliances, then they'll do these economic/political alliances, and then they'll do the kind of unions, and then from the unions they'll do some political treaties, and then next thing you know that they're trying to create their own kind of overarching government, regional government that supersedes the nation states. And then ultimately, I've always said that it's going to be easier for the Antichrist in the beast kingdom for them to bring in. It's easier for them to create a one world government out of, say, 7 regions or 10 regions rather than 193 separate nations. Come to Detroit, Pete. Me and my sister Grace in Christ, Stacy, want to meet you. Yep, I'd love to go to Detroit. So right now, Sir Pierce, I think we're planning on it's called Hidden Pizza. And it's in Norman. It's right down from where the hotel is. I think it's called Hidden Pizza. So, hey, good morning. How are y'all? Hey, y'all grab breakfast, and then I'm in the hallway when you're ready. My daughters are here too with me. Oh, I was going to say there's a David Fiorosa is looking at putting a conference on in Minnesota in the end of April, I think. So Minnesota would be Minneapolis, I think. I'm not 100% certain. I have to go back and check my email, but look for April timeframe to be in Minnesota. Hey, Terry. Hey, I'm live streaming now. If you want to jump in, unless you guys are doing something, going to eat or whatever.
He's going to work on his presentation.
This is Pete.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete, can we get together a little later?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's make a time to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to be swimming this afternoon for about an hour.
Okay.
I told my kids I'd go swimming with them.
I speak at 1:30. You speak at
How many you got
4:30,
with
I think.
you?
No, I'm at 5:15, I think.
5:15.
Yeah.
You want to get together? I speak at 1:30.
Let's shoot for like 3 or 4, somewhere there.
Okay. Well, I'll be at my table probably right after I speak.
Okay.
So just come and look me up, would you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you later.
Okay. So, let's see. Can you guys put a conference in Boise, Idaho? There's a. Hey.
Good try.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I would love to do something in Idaho. I think Tom went to Idaho not too long ago and spoke somewhere at one of the churches there, but it wasn't a conference. Hideaway Pizza. Yeah, Hideaway Pizza. Let's see. I'm gonna try. I mean, I'll try to go to all the ones that I can. It's just, trying to schedule time off for work, and right now I'm scheduled to go to Mississippi at the beginning of May. So the first weekend in May will be in Flowood, Mississippi. There's a Flowood Sheraton there. That's that conference will be, and it'll be myself and Tom Hughes, Alex Newman, and the Gauchers who are putting it on. They'll also be Chris Gaucher will be speaking at that. So. And he does a weekly class for his group there in Mississippi, but he posted on Rumble, and I think it's a private. It's a private invite to that. Atlanta, you know what? I I haven't heard anything about Georgia at the time being. Shauna, hey Shauna. Shauna, if you can get something going in Idaho, I will definitely show up. I would really love to like live up where my mom lives up there in Sandpoint. It's absolutely gorgeous. Gnarly news, Pete, just north of my hometown, Bethany in Oklahoma, there's a big event in Norman this week. Talking about this event? I don't know any other big event that's going on. But yeah, so I tried to get Olivier Melnick hooked me up with his hey buddy. Oh. So y'all know Joe. Let me scoot over. Hawkins from Prophecy Recon. So tell the tribe here what you're talking Sunday.
Yeah, talking on Sunday. The title is Code Red, Extraction Imminent. I'm going to be talking about the imminence of the rapture. There's been a lot of date setting talked about recently, but I'm going to tackle it from the angle of moral decay and apostasy. We see a lot of that going on in the world today. We see, especially with the Charlie Kirk situation, we saw not necessarily the situation itself, but the response to the assassination, how depraved the mindset is. I mean, we see that, almost a veil being uncovered whenever people celebrated death, right? And we're going to talk about that on Sunday. We're going to talk about apostasy, just a complete falling away, a departure of the faith. So we're going to see that.
Pop in for 5 minutes later. Sure.
Yeah, we're just here having a good time, though. I'm here seeing all the people that I listen to on YouTube and see some of the guys on here. We got with Israel, Sir Pierce DeVille,
Keegan's on.
Yeah, this is great.
Keegan, I was trying to get Lauren and Lance to come out. I had a place for them to stay, but she said they were working or something. They couldn't make it out, so she was kind of bummed about that. But I need to clarify with her. I think we're scheduled to do something this week, Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check. But anyways, so Joe, Prophecy Recon, Substack, right?
Yeah, I got a Substack. You can find me on Substack or go to my website, prophecyrecon.com. It has all the links there. But if you see me for any period of time, I curate a bunch of news articles and I write my own articles, which have been posted in Prophecy Watcher. And yeah, have a good time. Do it primarily write. I mean, I do a few videos. I'm starting to get out of my comfort zone because this guy's, trying to help me out with that. Not big on the videos. I just like to talk to people. So I'm in my element here.
Hey, I didn't set out to do videos. I didn't even set out to write. And so when the Lord called me to write, from there it led to this. But I mean, I definitely, my friend Josh, who I did a video with a long time ago, he was trying to get me on Patreon doing videos. I was like, nobody wants to watch a video of me. That's insane. That was 2017. I could have been doing it since 2017, but
that's the way I feel. I don't feel like I got anything to bring to the table, but we all have our talents, and the Lord's going to use us in the way that He sees fit, and it's up to us to walk through the doors when they open up. And I've fortunately had some doors open up, and I'm just going to walk through them. That's the advice I would give anybody. If you see a door opening, walk through it, because that door is not going to stay open forever.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Daniel Sutton, it's good to see you, buddy. So he's joining us from Facebook, and now that I've switched to this new laptop and stuff, I'm able to live stream from Facebook or YouTube. So depending on where you're able to tune in from, I encourage you guys both to go there. And eventually, I would like to do it where I'm streaming also through Rumble. I just haven't had time to set up the Rumble. You're on Rumble, right?
I have a channel, but I never post anything on it. It's just I'm still getting used to all the video platforms.
Yeah, it's Rumble's very different.
I think in November, I'm committing myself to doing more videos, by the way, guys. I want to say November the 7th, I'm going to start dropping a weekly podcast. I've got some time set up with Mondo to record. JB Hickson, I think I may have reached out to you. We're going to set up a time to record. Just do short little burst sessions, 30 minutes or so once a week. I still work a full-time job, so I'm trying to work through that. But I don't really call it my full-time job. I say it's a part-time job where I generate an income so I could do my full-time job where I cultivate an outcome. And that's the way I'm trying to do it right now. But I'll start forcing myself to do more videos starting November the 7th. And they'll be posted on YouTube, Substack, probably Rumble. I'm going to try to just put them out everywhere. So we'll see where it goes with. And I'll be recording with Prophecy Watchers, I believe, on Monday. So
Yeah.
you guys that'll be posted on the Prophecy Watcher website. I think me and Mondo are going to do a couple sessions.
Excellent. So what are your thoughts on everything going on with the Mideast right now with the peace and the Hamas? You think that it's actually going to go through, or do you think they're going to mess something up at the last second? Hamas.
Well,
I think they will mess something up.
I think they'll mess something up. Now, is it going to be messed up this weekend? I mean, we're here, and history has proven that weird things happen during these conferences, right? So it's certainly possible. I could see them playing nice up until they get to phase 2. So in between phase 1 and phase 2, because I mean, we're talking about removing these people from. I mean, this is their land. I mean, and you know, me, you, and Olivier was eating breakfast this morning, and he was showing a video of the Gazans celebrating. You know, the Gazans celebrating, saying "kill the Jews, kill the Jews." And I hope I don't get you taken off of YouTube for saying that. But
I hope not either.
Yeah.
We're not saying that. We're not advocating that. We're saying that this is what they were saying.
As Stephen Furtick says, for the record.
For the record.
Yeah, for the record.
Yeah.
But
that was on some news channel there. So
yeah. So
but,
just wild stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not gonna abide by the terms. It's just a matter of when they're gonna screw it up. So we'll just have to see when that happens. It's very possible that it won't go through this weekend.
Yeah, you know what? I had a copyright strike from my last video I did on Monday because I played the clip of Eisenhower. The presidential farewell address by President Eisenhower had of all things I could get a copyright strike on. It was on that. And I was like, are you serious? Because I guess BBC or somebody owns I don't see how that's possible, how a British broadcasting company could own the rights to the president speaking in the farewell speech.
That is wild.
But anyways, so I just clipped it out of there. You guys have seen it before. If not, it's easy to find it.
Absolutely.
But,
Kelly Schultz, hey, I see you on there. Good deal.
Pete and Joe. We should have a morning show.
Pete and Joe. Yeah, morning, Pete and Joe. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Good morning from the Oregon coast. Oh man, that's what, 5 in the morning there? No, 8. So Mountain Time. Is it Mountain Time, Pacific Time?
Well, they're on Mountain. No, they're on a Pacific Time.
Pacific
Oregon,
time.
yeah. They're Pacific.
I thought there was a time zone in between Mountain and Pacific. Is that not like Vegas time?
I don't know.
Like
Well, you
Vegas-
know, Arizona time. Arizona doesn't do daylight saving time.
Oh, they don't?
You know, they do 8. It's just AZT.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
They're the only ones that got the right head on their shoulder. I mean, we just need to do away with daylight savings time altogether.
You know what's crazy? Back when I got to flight school in 2003, it was December 2003, and I just finished officer basic course, and then I drove from Texas to Alabama, and I got there like December 20th, and I was so shocked that it was getting dark at like 4 in the afternoon, and I was thinking, why is it so dark this early? I know it's Christmas, December, but it's Fort Rucker is like literally like an hour from where the time zone changes from east to central, so it's far east in the central time zone that you can go, and that's the only thing that made sense to me was that it got dark there first before it got dark in Texas or something. I don't know. So,
And it's been getting, I mean, have you noticed that it's been getting darker earlier? I mean, like earlier in the year. I went out just a month or two ago. I mean, it seemed like the days were getting shorter by an hour already. I mean, I saw an article about that. It's just a little bit different. I don't know. I mean, it seems like it was getting darker this year than it normally does. We have animals that we deal with outside. I wasn't used to it getting dark as it earlier in the years it was.
Bart, if I started singing the Oklahoma Broadway, most everybody would tune out very quickly. So, hey,
Sign in here?
oh no,
Do I need to sign in at all?
oh I have no idea.
Yeah. Go all the way there and turn to the right. You'll see the registration table.
Yeah.
We're getting paid, by the way, for that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just directing people where to go.
Yeah.
You know what's so I don't know if I've shared this on here with you guys, but I have a theory that I heard, and it's not even a theory. It's well, it is a theory, but it's very it's an academic theory that comes from academic sources. But the reason why like Tornado Alley is shifted from, you know, the traditional like Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and it seems like now ground zero is like Missouri, and kind of shifting into like Eastern Tennessee or Western Tennessee and Western Kentucky and up through that area, is because going back to 2013, they were, you know, 2013 was still in the height of the whole study on global warming and climate change and all that. They're trying to figure out what's causing it. So they were looking at the sea shelf melting in Antarctica. And what would normally happen is if you have ice melting in these massive, like, you know, glaciers dropping off or whatever they are, and it should turn the water brackish. It should make the all that ice, you know, it's fresh water melting into the seawater should make it diluted, right? It should dilute the salt water, and instead it's getting saltier, and so they can't figure out what it was. And so the going theory, and they can't 100%, you know, prove this, but it's that there's underground thermals and vents that are this volcanic, you know, streams underneath the crust of the earth are very active, and that's causing all of this minerals that have been trapped, you know, carbon and minerals that trapped under the surface of the earth under the ice for hundreds and hundreds of years, now is getting released into the atmosphere. So all that carbon now is being pumped into the atmosphere because of this underground volcanic activity that's causing the ice to melt. But because so much minerals and material is coming up, it's not diluting the water. But all that carbon then is traveling, you know, if you're thinking about like a, you know, the globe like this, and here's Antarctica down here, all the gases and stuff are going to be going up to the equator. And then that goes into the La Nina and the El Nino, those jet streams, and it's like fueling it, causing it, hey, Bob, causing it to strengthen all of those weather systems. So those weather systems then are getting more intense, and it's also moving the traditional paths that, you know, when the northwesterlies blow down into the U.S. or from the Arctic North, and they kind of blow from the northwest to the southeast, it's causing that to shift because of the strengthening of these La Nina and El Nino systems that kind of alternate every couple of years. So that to me is what makes the most sense, that it's underground volcanic activity, not man-made, you know, whatever, people driving SUVs or, you know, cows passing gas or any of that other stuff. So to me, that makes a lot of sense that this underground volcanic activity is doing that.
Definitely plausible. And actually, Bob and I were talking about that yesterday, and he said Gary Stimmer. So you need to get with Gary Stimmer before you leave. He said he has a lot of information on that. He had something to say about it being with the geomagnetic or the magnetic poles shifting.
Yeah.
That could have something. I don't know. I mean, that's
probably
that stuff is way over my head. A combination of both.
Combination, yeah, sure. So there you go. Free theory for the day. Project R21. Would your organization consider coming to Marble Falls, Texas to do a symposium? I have a large following in my area. You would have to get with Bob Ulrich or Mondo Gonzalez from Prophecy Watchers and coordinate that. I am not officially with Prophecy Watchers, although I've collaborated with them for a number of years. But I'm assuming they would not be opposed to that. But I think they would just have to. Hey, my mom's on. Good morning, Mom.
Hey, Pete's mom, Juanita.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about the Philippines. They had a 7.6 earthquake there.
Yeah, and we got a guy from the Philippines here.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna grab him and see if you know, if he's heard about that. We got a guy from Sri Lanka here as well.
Well, the thing is too that we're in a solar maximum right now, so that the sun just entered the solar maximum, and when we enter that cycle of a solar maximum, you get a lot of earthquake activity. You get a lot of activity with the oceans, with the moon, everything. It affects everything. So when we're in our solar minimum, think back to when George Washington was crossing the Delaware and it was like completely frozen over. That whole time period was called the Maunders Minimum, and it lasted about 75 years. You had incredibly cold winters, incredibly cold or, cool summers. But now things should be heating back up again. Yeah, geo changes is a natural function of the Earth's disaster cycle. Yep. Solar cycle 25 is going strong. Yeah, you're the guy with the SWAT team on your property. Do you ever get with the sheriff on that? Earlier winters as well. That may be explaining why yeah. Tom Hughes was talking about doing experiments in South America. Yeah, they're trying that in England too, of all places.
Mhm.
Like, why would you want to make England cooler? If anything, they need some global warming there. They, no kidding, in England, in Belfast, Ireland, when I was over there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have 3 or more days of 74 degrees in a row, that's considered a heat wave.
I want to say Gary said that one time on one of his streams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he might have.
Yeah.
Somebody said it. I can't remember who. But anyways, what else we got? We almost had no summer. So, Mom, they want to do a conference. They're looking to do a conference in Boise, Idaho. I said I would come. I would absolutely commit to that. I don't know how far Boise is from. Howdy. Live? Yeah. You want to jump in to that live stream? Okay. Hey, Jessica. See, Jessica she won't go to the conference in Oakland. She will only go to the one in Florida. Or maybe Colorado. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Are you going to be at the one in Colorado?
Is there one in Colorado?
Yeah, it's going to be next year. The one they're doing in June.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. They invite me back. I would definitely be interested in Colorado. Although I did my first presentation there, man, I was so nervous, man. I'd been in command. I've gotten up and spoken in front of hundreds of people as a commander, and I was in a small room in the back of that hotel there in Colorado Springs, and I was doing Jude, the book of Jude, and something just hit me like a wave. Man, I was so nervous. It was weird. It was like I had the greatest anxiety, like panic attack. And then thankfully I had Tom Hughes and his wife were back in the back kind of cheering me on. They knew it was my first time.
I'm the same way this time. I mean, because I'm a last minute fill in. I was coming to attend this thing. Bob had invited me since I've written for Prophecy Watchers, and last minute fill in. I said, sure, I'll speak. And now I'm like super nervous. And I don't ever get nervous from talking in front of people, but it's something, whenever we're talking about God's word, you got to make sure you handle that correctly.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. I got a few, I got some things that I believe that are going to have some oohs and ahs. I got some clips that I'm going to play that probably nobody's seen before. Some of the hardcore people probably seen them, but I'm going to say a lot of these people probably haven't. So looking forward to that. Definitely nervous.
Well, I'll be there cheering you on. When are you speaking?
Well, you probably won't be here Sunday.
Yeah, no, I'll be here Sunday.
Sunday, I think I go in at 12. I go right after Britt.
Okay. Jessica, I would totally come to Florida if and when they do another one down there. I was trying to get to the last one. I just, because of the work and stuff, I couldn't make it. They had asked me if I'd come down there, but I just, at the time, I couldn't do it. But yeah, I love going to Florida.
Again, by the way, anytime I think I may have already told you this, but this is for everybody here too. Anytime you talk or communicate with JB Hickson, it's no longer JB, it's Jelly Bean Hickson.
Jelly
Bean Hickson. That's what you got to call him from now on.
Right.
Jelly Bean. He'll love it.
Vin asked, am I coming to Cali? No, man, I'm avoiding California at all costs unless I get sent there for work. And if I get sent there for work, then I'll speak wherever. But I'm scared of California. Like, I would rather go into like Iraq they go to California. I don't know how to explain it.
Wow.
I'd go to Baghdad instead of going to California.
My first experience with California was, I don't even know, 10 years ago. And when we crossed over into California, we literally went through a fruit checkpoint. I did
Really?
not know that was a thing. And whenever we went there, they were like, "Are you bringing any fruits in here?" Like, no. But that was a thing. And some of these guys may know what that was, but I was glad to get out.
Well, I guess if you're from California, it's not, you're
Yeah,
used to the
you're used to it.
insanity, but
Yeah.
Portland, yeah. You know what? Actually, I did a conference. We did a conference in Oregon a couple years ago. Roseburg or Rosebud?
Rosebud sounds right.
It's a Rosebud, Oregon. Albuquerque. Man, I'd come out to New Mexico. That's not too far from where I'm at. Hey guys.
Yeah, Rosebud.
Is it
Roseburg?
Roseburg.
Yeah, Roseburg.
Yeah. That was a great conference. The only crazy thing that was me and Ken Michaels and two guys from it wasn't Amir Sarfati, but it was two of his teams.
Oh, restroom. Okay, if you go that way, turn to the left, right behind that prophecy watcher table, you'll see the restrooms.
Two guys from Amir's team was there, and somebody else. I couldn't tell you where it is. But yeah, so we were gonna speak Friday, Saturday, and then I was supposed to preach Sunday. Well, I did preach Sunday, but so Friday night, somebody ran into a telephone pole, not even near the church, but it took out all the electricity for that whole block. So we ended up having to do the whole service outside. And they started it outside until it got too dark and it started to rain. So then by the time we got inside, somebody had set up candles everywhere. It looked super cool, like how it worked, how it did it. But I couldn't use my computer. I couldn't use my presentation or anything. So basically it was just going off my handout slides. So Alabama. Yeah, it was kind of a blackout.
You go one more if you go like right there. I'm gonna answer it. Right, I'm gonna respond to that right there. That I think it's Rob Gaming. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
I appreciate your work.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I watched a lot of your most stuff, like with Tom Hughes and other people have interviewed you, but I really appreciated what you had to say.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're doing live right now. Yeah.
Excuse
You want
me.
to get on?
No. You want to?
No, you're good. Come on. You
No,
want?
No.
that's you and me.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
No. Hey, don't worry about it.
Oh yeah.
Which one are you gonna answer?
Let's see. Let's see. Rob Gaming. Yeah, would you guys go deeper on what you were saying about online ministry, feeling that your voice has value and handling the Lord's work carefully? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that start their YouTube channels and they just want to give their opinion on what the word says, and that's why I'm very careful about not just starting a video session. I don't want to just give you my opinion. I want to give you what the word actually says. And there's too much false interpretation going on out there today. Pete's very good about not getting into topics until he's actually researched them. I mean, we see a gross mishandling of God's word on a daily basis. We even see it in churches, obviously. But with these online ministries, what people don't understand is when they get a following and they're grossly mishandling the word, they're leading people astray. And they're obviously going to have to answer to that at some point. So that's why I'm personally careful about getting on the camera. I want to make sure before I talk on any topic that I've researched that topic, that I've talked about that topic, that I understand that topic. I'm not just giving you what Joe thinks about it. Pete's not giving you just what Pete thinks about it. He's giving you what he thinks about it, but he's backing it up by scripture. And coming from the academic world, I'm one of those I'm very much a source-oriented writer. I want to make sure that I can back it up with sources, with references. Pete's the same way. And that's what our scripture is. Our scripture is our source document. Mm-hmm. We always go back to scripture. If anything that we're talking about contradicts scripture, then you need to just say, hey, you know what? I don't want to listen to this guy anymore. A lot of these guys that was dealing with the date setting just recently, some of it, especially the ones that were like guaranteed it's gonna happen. Like at this point in the game, those guys, they've lost their credibility. They don't need to be listened to at the moment. They need to step away, and they need to find a pastor, or they need to find a teacher that they can sit under so that they can understand the errors of their ways, and maybe they can come back at some point in the future. But I'm highly skeptical of online ministries unless I completely vet them. So I would encourage you to vet any online ministries that you come across. And if they have a website, and I know Pete's done this a few times, go to their website, see if they have a statement of faith, run through that statement of faith. The statement of faith on my website, it's extremely detailed. And I did that on purpose so that if somebody goes to my website, they know exactly where I stand on pretty much every theological issue. So that's just kind of my take on it. Yeah.
And I know early on, I always said, if I don't know something, I'm just going to say I don't know it. I'm not going to pretend like I know what it is. I just, I think the first time I ever got on with Tom Hughes, and it was like, what was it? He's like, hey, you ready to do some Q&A? And I'm like, yeah, but let me just caveat and say, I reserve the right to say I don't know. And I still maintain that, because I don't know everything about Scripture. But what I do know, and what I state publicly, is something that I've researched for years and years, and I can go back and look at my old articles from 10 years ago, and I still have the same position. I haven't changed. There's some things I've tweaked, little bitty things here and there, but they're not anything like significant in the sense of like, major positions. I didn't go from pre-wrath to pre-trib, or from pre-trib to pre-wrath, or I didn't flip-flop or whatever. I've always maintained that same. Once I took about 3 years, once the Lord called me back from about 2007 to 2010, almost 2011, I was kind of struggling with pre-wrath, because some of the guys I was listening to sounded so convincing. But the more I dug into it, and when I started to look at the totality of Scripture, when I took all the doctrines together, pre-wrath did not meet the standard of checking all the blocks across every other doctrine. They would start to contradict in other places. And so that's where I had a major issue with it. And I finally just went back and said, well, I'm just going to stay with the pre-trib position, because right now it does not conflict with any other doctrine, whether it's a, primary, secondary, tertiary, whatever. And if you have to go, man, you don't.
No. Yeah. Just, I'm going to roll out here in a second.
Yeah. So that's my thing. And for online ministries as well, I would also kind of caveat that and say, you don't have to be an expert to start something, but just be open to where the Lord leads you, and be honest and humble enough to say, look, this is not my area of expertise. If somebody brings me on and they want to talk about the early church fathers, to a significant degree, I know a little bit about them. I know a little bit more about church history, but I am by no means the expert on like the Essene calendar. There's so many eschatology is such a broad subject that you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that was an expert in every single area. Even guys like John Woolvert and others that had spent their 50, 60 years teaching it would say they didn't have it all figured out. So anybody that acts like they have it figured out, I would that's a red flag to me. Like, I would be like, okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you did that to me. You were really talking about posse comitatus. I'm like, dude, I need to freshen up on this before we get into this. So I freshened up on it. Before I roll out, I saw Vendog. He asked so about my ministry. So by the way, everybody, I don't know if this is, yes, it's flipped around. So my name is Joe Hawkins, and my ministry is Prophecy Recon. You can find it on YouTube. You can just go to Prophecy Recon on YouTube. I don't have many videos yet. I do have some that I've done some interviews on. I've been on with JB Hickson a good bit. I do have a website, prophecyrecon.com. You can pretty much go there. That's the one-stop shop. And I have a Substack, prophecyrecon.substack.com. So feel free to check it out. I primarily write at the moment. That's where I do most of my stuff is just in written form. But I am getting out of my comfort zone and doing more videos. If you can't tell, I have that little bit of an accent. And that's what's held me up, to be honest with you, because I feel like I sound like a dumb redneck. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So I'm gonna roll out here in a minute. I'm gonna I think my wife has summoned me a couple of times.
She's like,
Little,
Hey, send Mondo down if you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I'll grab
He's
him.
right down there.
yeah, he's
So-
right down there. I'll let you know. We'll see you.
Okay, but
I'll probably pop back in. Where's Gary at? Is he in one of the sessions?
man, I have not seen Gary. He's supposed to be here. In fact, I need to text him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll pop back in here in a
okay,
little bit.
okay.
We'll see you guys.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Let me message Gary. Find him real quick. Where is his Gary? It is. All right. Yeah. Who's here in Norman? Yeah, there's. Let's see. Let's try to read this one. Many people are coming out of the world right now. I talk to daily people in the public for their history and they agree on the living. Yeah, I think, people can sense that we're in this kind of the zeitgeist. The zeitgeist is that we're in the midst of this tremendous upheaval and change. And it seems like even the unsaved world knows something's amiss, but they can't really put their finger on it. And so they're searching. And that's where we step in to fill in the gap for churches, because a lot of churches won't talk on this subject. They won't talk on this topic. And so it's unfortunate, if pastors were doing what they're supposed to be doing, they wouldn't need me on here. I could just be doing something else, but because they're not talking about it, I feel like God is gonna get this message out one way or the other. And although I don't feel, I don't feel like I deserve to be called, speak, but I'm just trying to be faithful to what God's called me to do. Let's see. Have I ran into Lee yet? Lee is not here yet. He'll be here this afternoon, but I did see Nita a couple of times. So she was telling me that she's going to pick him up this afternoon. He's coming in from another conference, a pastor's conference. Let's see. Yeah, I like Joe's accent. I wish I had I'm from Texas and I don't even have an accent. Kills me. Has anyone heard Mike from around the world yesterday? I don't know who that is. Mike from around the world. So, talking about this Feast of Trumpets, the rapture dating and September 23rd and 24th. I mean, I wouldn't have had any issue if people were treating that as like a kind of a high watch time. But when this guy Joshua came out and said it was the Lord told him, so he's saying, "Thus saith the Lord," it's going to happen on this date, and then it didn't. Then he shifted to the Julian calendar. And then that date, then that didn't. You know what I mean? Like all that does is trash the credibility for the community at large. Even people that have nothing to do with date setting, they get lumped in with that as well. So it's kind of unfortunate. But you know what? I would say, too, that the pre-trib position is not the only date setters. If you're a preterist, you're definitely a date setter because you're saying everything happened in the first century. So you've set the date for 70 AD, or you set it for whatever, 69 AD, 70 AD. Pre-wrath, those guys are date setters. They're saying that it's going to happen exactly between the, at the 3/4 mark. So they're saying that's exactly the time when the rapture is going to happen. They call the rapture resurrection thing, which doesn't make any sense because if you rapture and resurrect everybody at the 3/4 mark, who's going to be left to enter into the kingdom? At the second coming, everybody's going to be all the wicked will be cast into hell, or the lake or to the outer darkness, and then the righteous are all going to be transformed into their glorified bodies. They will not be able to procreate, which is one of the requisites for the millennial kingdom. The whole world is going to, the population is going to boom inside the millennial kingdom, probably to like 20 billion people. Manesh asks, do you think Mystery Babylon is the Arab country surrounded by water as the mother of all harlots? No. I think they're part of it. I don't think that they are exclusively it. I think it's going to be the old world. We think of the old world like Europe, Africa, Asia, Eurasia. I'm kind of convinced that by the first or second trumpet judgments, the North Americas may not even be here. So, or, not able to affect much of anything.
Your coffee done this way, man?
Man, I have no idea. Hey, you want to jump on? I'm live right now. You want to jump on?
Okay.
Oh.
I don't know how I could have.
So, who'd you go see? They tell him happy birthday?
Oh, I didn't know it was his birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's turning 89 today. Looks pretty good for 89.
Yeah.
I don't know how old
Oh,
he is.
89. My mind is off.
Let's see. Marble Falls. Yeah, that's a good place to be. Yeah. I mean, like, Tyler and I doing the Final Four, like, I have no qualms at looking at time periods and thinking, okay, could this be it? And if it is, what is the evidence that supports that idea? And so Tyler and I just went through and just did very basic, it wasn't like we did this complex, like, algebra, calculus solution to try to make, the rapture fit into the specific time period. And then we weren't backing it up with confirmation bias, confirmation bias being like, you think it's going to happen on 9/23, and then you go to a restaurant and your receipt is $9.23, and then you go outside and you happen to look at the clock and it was right at 9/23. You start feeding, every time you start looking for that, you're going to start seeing it everywhere. And that's not, hey buddy, jump on. That's not really how it's supposed to work. So, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Gary McKibben, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Where were you this morning, man? I missed you at breakfast.
I got up a little bit late. Sorry.
Yeah.
There's people on there.
Oh yeah. So you're going to Vegas tomorrow, and you're speaking
Yes.
at Kurt's church.
Yes. Hey, Kitterman. I just see Kitterman there. Yeah. Well, we actually go tonight. So we go
Tonight.
6 p.m. And then to Vegas, and then I think 2 sessions in the morning on Sunday. I think we're doing the Maranatha on Sunday evening. So
And you fly back on Monday.
fly back on Monday. Yeah. It's awesome. I'm tired already.
Man, I haven't been to Vegas in. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't been since 2004.
I think it's about the same time with me.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, it was in the martial arts, and we were doing like there's martial arts super show, all the big guys, from around the world, boss fight and all of those, and training with all those guys. So, is there room for his muscles? There's no muscles. I just shop at Baby Gap. That's it.
That's like when I got to Kentucky last in March, there's a Kohl's right down the road. So I stopped in the Kohl's and I found this. I haven't worn it on. I don't think I've worn it, but it's this like kind of like a Hawaiian shirt, but it's like black.
Yeah.
Black roses, and it's kind of like my style. And it was like they only had the one size, and it was like medium, or no, it was like large. And at the time I needed like a 2X, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'm squeezing into it and I'm asking the lady at the front desk, like, hey, do you have any more of these sizes? And she's like, that's it, that's all we have. So, but I finally had to lose the weight to fit into the shirt, and now it's kind of baggy on me. So.
Yeah.
Did you send that out to Simon already? The video?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I will do. I got the video of you turning around as the new fitness model.
Yeah, listen, looking at my old photos from from Belfast, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was a roly poly back then.
Well, you were still doing stuff because I saw you. Do you remember when you were going shopping and you were walking along with your shopping going? "Look,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
working
yeah.
out. I can't get to the gym. I'm working out."
You guys saw y'all sitting here. Do y'all know why this Oklahoma ballroom? I guess for this next. I mean, it's.
I'd ask the information guys there.
Oh, okay, that's true. It's all.
What's her name? Hey, Dora. Your daughter says you're watching. I think I saw her on here. Yeah, Dora's on here. Hello, Dora.
She wants to adopt.
Oh,
That's a good question. The IDs.
with all the ID problems coming up out of the UK, is it getting more difficult to leave that area for international?
Like, jump on.
No. Someone said you were looking for me for.
Yeah, we're doing live. We're promoting the conference. So
Everybody, that's good. Yes.
Mondo Gonzalez is in the house. It turns out that we're cousins.
Yes. At least.
Yeah. It's like an old relative. Your patriarch had changed his name at like 100, 200 years ago.
So it's like, yeah, originally I'm a Garcia, really.
He did out of shame.
No, I don't know. Somehow. I think
He's rising up in the
I
world now.
think there was some, we got to hide because we crossed the border and we don't want to get in trouble. So we're going to start a new name. And I'm being serious.
That is awesome.
So that's the new one.
I know he texted, or you sent me a voicemail like, I don't know, a month ago or 2 months ago. And it was like this long voicemail, like 10 o'clock at night. And you're going through like your family history. And I'm like, what? Did you send this to the right person? Like, and then you get to the end of it. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
We're cousins.
We're cousins.
You know, my dad's 82, and I hear we are at the last minute. Like he's 82, and he's
Oh,
telling
well,
me this.
I don't know if you can fit in.
He's telling me this. Like, hey, just so you know, we're not really Gonzalez's. So I'm like, thanks, Dad. Like,
All right.
you take
Peach is on with us.
Nice to see you guys. Have a good, blessed day. We're back.
All right. Who are you going to see now? Who are you going to watch? Brandon.
Brandon
Oh,
Hall.
is he here?
It's-
I haven't seen him yet.
I haven't seen him. I just saw stuff.
I saw his table, but I didn't know he was here.
Um,
Okay, go back to
the
the.
question is
yeah.
it harder to get out of? It's going to be. I don't know if everybody saw this, but Keir Starmer was outed, I think, yesterday.
Wait.
And not now,
Oh,
although he
oh,
probably is. There's a load of stories about that. But in terms of the digital IDs, it kind of, some will say he slipped up because he turned around and he says this will be great to allow people easier access and kind of restrict access to your own money. So the cat's out of the bag. Not that anybody had any qualms about this. And you can see who's pulling the strings. Larry Ellison is as big as is the patron of Tony Blair. Tony Blair's behind Keir Starmer. Larry Ellison is playing off the Bank of International Settlements playbook, and it won't be long before the UK, America, Europe are all on a world ledger, and we're all soul-bound tokens. That's the plan, anyway. But
Tokenization.
Yeah. Same with Larry Fink.
I hadn't even heard that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that guy's. If he's not in the 10 Kings, he's got to play some role in the 10 Kings. Larry Fink guy. I'm gonna throw some virtual tomatoes at Starmer. What a turd! Sorry guys, that's harsh language, but that guy's a turd.
Yeah, see, I refuse because it's supposed to be Sir Keir Starmer, and I just my rebellion is not to say the Sir at any time.
Patrick Hard, do you know, or can we calculate when exactly the 6,000 years has passed since creation? Man,
It depends on the calendar.
I am a neophyte. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
When it comes to this topic, but I know a little bit about this in the sense that, according to the Jews calendar, the Jewish calendar, they still think the world is in
86.
I think that was that based off the Septuagint? No.
Well, I think it changed. From my recollection, it changed around the 3 AD, around that, and there was a break. That's like
Ken Johnson's around the corner. He's the one
Yeah,
to talk about this.
I
But
should get Ken
there
over
was a
here.
break, obviously, between the Essenes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees in terms of calendar, and that was where the biggest argument lay. So the difference with the Essene calendar, we're in 5950, and then in March we go into 5951. So then that's the 6,000 years. But again, there's a
So this,
Enochian calendar as well.
yeah, the Septuagint though has the count. They had the 6,000th year back in the year 500. So
Okay.
the Byzantine Empire believed that they were the Messianic kingdom because they
Yeah.
were using the Septuagint chronology in Genesis 5 and 10, or 5 and 10,
Mhm.
to base their where they were in since creation. And so obviously, if that were true, we would be in the year 7,500 or whatever.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I just can't
No.
get into that. So we know there was a lot of mistakes in the Septuagint chronologies, and then so we are. I'm convinced that the Masoretic text is correct, that we are approaching the 6,000th year.
Yeah.
If you want to get onto all the little nuances of whether the skipped year or leap years and all the little things that you can, I mean, I think we're kind of in that time frame.
Isaac Newton done a great study of breaking down the years,
Yeah.
breaking down specifically around the Daniel prophecies and the 70 weeks prophecies. But my focus isn't on the 6,000, more on the 2,000,
Yeah.
more on the fact that like 2032 or you're
2033.
2033 for you, yeah.
Yeah. So that's exactly when Tyler and I did the Final Four. We just used roughly the 2,000 years from Adam to Abraham. That was roughly 2,000 years. Is it exactly 2,000 years? We can't say for certain, but it was roughly 2,000 years from Abraham's to Christ's first coming. And now we're coming up on the third anniversary of this 2,000-year cycle. And so I can't see anybody coming that's better than Christ unless he's coming back his second time. So there's no improvement beyond Christ. So,
And that's the Essene connection as well. There's your mom.
oh, hey, there she
May I
is.
interrupt?
Yeah.
I want a selfie.
Oh, yeah.
With both of you.
Take over. Oh,
I'll
it's just-
let you do it. and
Here, I'll take a picture. Let me take a picture of all of you.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
these guys are pretty cool.
Okay, smile. Say like you mean it. Okay, one more. Let's get one more in there. Let's get a bit. You always got to have two pictures. One of them never comes out. That's,
Que Dios te bendiga.
See?
hey,
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. Oh, my name's Rick.
Hey, Rick.
I'll follow you whenever I see you.
Is
Okay.
this your first
And
time?
No, I think
so anyway,
Okay, well,
you're
great
talking
seeing you.
about
I
the
listened to
scene
you guys
calendar.
both.
You're talking about this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I have a different. I'm an engineer. I used to be an engineer with IBM for 41 years.
Well, here, get on camera so you can explain to everybody. We're doing a live stream right now.
Oh,
You want to go live?
it's up to you.
Well, you got to keep it under 2 minutes. Can you do that?
Well, this, okay. So this is something that I find interesting, that you need data points.
Yeah.
It's just not, everybody gets to write their own opinion, but you don't get to write your own facts. So you have to have the facts to back your opinions up.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's just random words. Right?
Correct.
So the scene calendar that they found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, if you look at that, Dr. Johnson has it and all that.
Yeah.
It shows that 2025 is a Jubilee year. And it shows the millennial reign starts like in 2075. So it's a 50-year window, okay? So, all the time you take this information, you have to kind of process and say, okay, so where are we? So one thing I find really interesting, if you know Dr. Michael Heiser, they found that Christ was born on September 11th in 3 BC. And they pretty much have documented with astronomy and Revelation 12 and all that's right. So I start thinking about that. So if that's true, I mean, you have to, we take in facts and then we start analyzing, find out, okay, is this really the truth or is this not? So you look at that, if that's true, that means that if Christ lived to 33 years, that 2030 is the 2,000-year mark. Okay. So I says, okay, so that's just a data point. And then if we're on the same calendar, and if 2025 is the last Jubilee year, we're still in that window, right?
Mhm.
So then I start thinking, this is the engineer. Okay, so if 1,000 years is to a day, what a day is to 1,000 years, that means you can take 24 hours, divide it to 1,000, and find out that an hour is 41.6 years. And so if you come back from 2075 when the calendar ends, it takes you all the way back to like 2033 and a half. So no man knows the day or the hour, but there's definitely a window that something is going to happen.
I can't see 2033 as the latest, because we know most scholars would say that the crucifixion happened somewhere between 29 and 33 AD. Right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that 4-year window. We may not all agree on what exact year, because we all have our own looking at what day the Passover had to be on, what was the lunar calendar, the solely lunar calendars, and all the different variables that go into it. The year that Tiberius actually took over is in Luke chapter 2, where it talks about in the 15th year of his reign. So when did that start? And so he had 2 years that he co-reigned with his father before his father passed. So you have all of those kind of information points, right?
Yeah, they're all data points.
But we have a window of time, which I think is a safe way to look at it, like a season, if you
It's
will.
a season.
Season.
Well, the word for season in Hebrew is moed. It means the appointed time. God is not a God of chaos. He's a God of precision. Every feast came true exactly. Christ came exactly at the Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Passover, not 6 months later. Passover didn't come 8 weeks after he said, or Pentecost, and so everything is perfect order. And so we don't know the order, but we should know the season that we're entering into.
I would agree with that.
And so I find something that's interesting. I can't remember. One of the pastor guys, I can't remember, maybe it was Tom Horn or some of the guys, they talked about, when the ages collide, there's about a 50-year window. It's like a birthday party. Before the birthday party, you got to invite the guests, you got to get all the gifts, you got to plan everything. So the day of the party starts, everything's in place.
Yeah.
So if you look at 75 AD, that's supposed to on this calendar was the changing of the ages. The last prior 50 years, you had the Christ living, you had him dying, you had resurrection, you had the church being born, you had the temple destroyed, you have all these things. So we find ourselves in the same
state
place.
setting.
Yeah, it's state setting.
We're in the state setting now for this final iteration.
And I believe, it doesn't take a brain scientist to look around the world.
Your friend's a rocket scientist. Just
I have a rocket scientist.
and see all these things that are taking place in the world.
Well, it's also interesting when you look at the Essene calendar, and it's 2025 to 2075, and you go back because they're split up into epochs of ages and in jubilees.
Yeah.
The time of Christ coming was 25 AD to 75 AD. That was the last jubilee of the age of the Torah, and the majority of prophetic moments happened at the beginning. At the beginning. So you've got Christ's ministry, you've got the start of the church, you've got the ascension. So even if you take the ascension in Acts 1, where Christ is raised up, if that was a prophetic picture of what would happen to the church in the rapture, then I wouldn't be looking toward the end of the Jubilee. I would be looking
at the beginning of it.
Well, I think we're in a prophetic season.
Well, you got to realize, so if we really have 50 years, you still have to have the Ezekiel 38 war, tribulation period, the Antichrist, 144 witnesses, the two. There's so much, time goes by real fast. Once you tip the dominoes over, they start falling really quick.
Yeah, look how fast it took Israel to take out Hezbollah from the pager attack, and then Nasrallah, and then just like how fast the tide turned on. They thought the war with the Hezbollah was the major war that they were dreading, and they thought it was going to drag on for years and years, and that was the fastest thing that happened. So
well, look how fast we're talking about digital IDs. It's not just the UK that's bringing this digital ID. 21 countries have accepted digital ID in the last year. That's 1 year.
Yeah.
And that's the current of the world, the way we're moving, we're all moving at that sort of speed. And it's a time of acceleration or tacos, the foot hits the ground, the revving of the
gas pedal.
Yeah.
One thing I find interesting, I've been to a lot of these seminars and things like this, okay? You have pastors or people, they're focused on the Bible, just the Bible. And then you have people that are focused on the monetary system, what's going on in the world. And they never connect the dots between the two. You know, the word says that, you know, in the times, you know, loaf of bread for a day's wages, you know, you take the market. And we're looking at the monetary system, what's going on in the world with all the BRICS nations, you know, with all the monetary gold reset. You know, we look at the 100-year stock cycle that's coming up on 2029. And we see all these things coming into play. And we don't get a vote on any of it. But Christ said, occupy until I return. So as long as we have to occupy in this environment. You know, it's great to look forward, but you might have ways to get there. Your rapture may be today, okay? But we need to look forward to what is prophesied and what's coming about, and start connecting the dots.
Agreed.
So, as you know, I worked for IT and for years, okay? So it's very important
Text me.
not to understand that the chicken crossed the road, get the other side.
Mhm.
You want to know what kind of chicken it was? Did it fly? Did it walk? How wide was the road? Was there something chasing it? Was it raining? You have to have all these data points to form a valid opinion of what motivated that chicken to cross the road in the first place. We need to do the same thing with the Bible. We have to look at all these data points and try. Not that you're going to figure anything out, but the more, you know, I find this, the more answers you have, the more questions you have. You know? And
Agreed.
but anyway, so we're in some interesting times.
For sure. I mean, even look what's the last couple of years have happened. It's just like, who would have thought? We were here 2 years ago at the Proxy Watchers Conference. I was here October 7th when the attack first happened. They quickly assembled, you know, all the big brains on, you know, the Middle East and stuff together. Bill Koenig, Bill Salas, and some others, Gary Stearman and others. But none of us knew how things would turn out the way they did. You know, even back then, because you're limited by, I call it the tyranny of the present. You're stuck in that present time, and you can't really see how things are going to change or work out because they haven't happened yet, right? We would have thought, I would have thought, everybody was talking about how Hezbollah was going to join in, and that if they did, this was going to drag out to be this massive. And it did. It's a 2-year conflict thus far, but it's been primarily focused against Hamas, and very little with Hezbollah, and very little with the Houthis, and with even Iran, how fast they were able to strike Iran.
You know, 2 years is a blip.
Yeah.
That's not even a speck on God's timeline. And we get caught up in our world, not his world. And we look at Noah. Look at how many scoffers there were in his day. I mean, he was an idiot until the day it started raining, then became a genius.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have to have our eyes open, because you don't want to be like the rest of the crowd that's going south. You know, you want to make sure that you're, first off, you got to know the Lord.
Yeah.
First and foremost, before anything, you need to know, and all God wants from any person is a repentant heart and a believing loyalty in His Son. You get eternal life by believing, not by doing.
Right.
Okay. And so many churches, so many people that focus on this doing aspect of it, that they can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very critical, because 95% of the people in this country have a Bible. There's probably only 5% of them know what's in it.
No, I agree.
And it's spooky.
What's your name again?
My name is Rick.
Rick. Thanks for hanging out, Rick.
You bet. These are one of my cards. Okay. You know what those are, right?
Yeah.
I worked for IBM for 41 years.
Oh, that's like, it reminded me of the Scantron
that's a
test.
punch card.
Yeah.
This card, when Hollerith designed this 80-column card, they used to have what they call saddleback dollars. You know what that is?
No.
Okay, well, you used to carry your dollar bills in a saddlebag with your horse, right? It's a bigger dollar. It's about size. It's this size exactly. That's where he got the size from for this 80-column card. Okay, but look at this. When I started working on things, disk drives were hydraulic. Think about that. Oil. Now you can put all that data on the head of a grain of sand. Okay. This is the beginning of AI right here as we've seen technology increase. Supernet. As I was there for like 41 years. You had to get trained every 6 months because technology was moving so fast. Now I've been gone when COVID hit. They got rid of the old guys. And I can't even begin to keep up with the changes with quantum computing, AI, and all this stuff.
Yeah, it is.
And it's amazing that we're rushing. We're going as fast as we can to create the one thing that's going to pretty much destroy mankind.
I agree.
Anyway, it's nice talking to you guys. I appreciate it. Good to meet you. And you got my number there?
Yep.
I live in Texas.
Where at?
I live in Plano.
Okay.
So need somebody to talk with?
Yep.
Let me know. Okay.
Hit you up.
Always looking for a good conversation.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
What do you think about that question?
My grown sons worry about what we have to go through before the rapture. It's getting bad here in Commie Canada. In fairness, I think me and you had a conversation on that just privately about that before, about how dark it will get. Not to be a doom and gloomer, but when we talk about the word harpazo, it's literally the description of the very last minute. It is the snatching away. It is something, if you take the Greek etymology of it, it's describing pulling someone out from the fire, like as in that process. So it's a very last minute thing. Now that means that we could see persecution and darkness. And I think there has to be a case of preparation for what we go through, but at the same time, not losing sight by getting consumed with what's dark, but keeping our eyes on Jesus and focused on him. I don't know, what do you think?
I think that the further that we press forward into time, I used to think that that the gap between the rapture and the start of the 70th week would be 10 or more years. And I got that from like Don Koenig.
Yeah.
But the more that the closer we get into it, the less I think that gap has to be. But I don't think, I am convinced that the rapture is not going to happen 1 second and then the tribulation starts like the next.
No, I agree.
There's got to be a period of time because
Yeah.
there's so much that has to happen between the rapture itself, which opens the floodgate for things to take place, and then the actual start of the 70th week, whatever that initial, maybe it's a reconvening of the Abraham Accords, or I don't know what it's going to be, but something that Rick said a second ago, or maybe you said it, was talking that year is as 1,000 days, 1,000 days as a year. That word "as" is the word "like."
Yeah.
It's like a simile.
Yeah.
So does that mean 1,000 years is approximately, or a day is approximately 1,000 years, or is it estimated to be like 1,000 years? Like, is it like 1,001 years?
No, I would say it's more estimate. I don't put it down as I think otherwise then we're sort of,
I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, I figured, and I
And
couldn't help you.
I'm
Are you live?
Yeah. You want to jump in?
No. I mean, I'm gonna grab a bite, but maybe on the way back.
Yeah. Okay. But so we don't know if it's approximately or if it's a estimated exactly 1,000
see,
years.
I think if we say it's exactly, then the problem is then the idea of date setting and stuff becomes so much easier, and I think people are prone to it, and I don't think that that's something that we should ever be prone to in Scripture. However, just to go back to that question quickly, because I think what she was asking was the weariness that people are feeling, and I think everybody feels that. Everybody feels the darkness and how things can be all consuming. You look at digital IDs, you look at wars, rumors of wars, possible war in Europe, like a ground war, ground incursion, and all of that, all being headlined at the minute. And you can get focused on the darkness of it. But I think that this is the test of our faith moment too. So we don't go through the tribulation, but if everything's plain sailing up until the tribulation, then where's the proof of our faith to those that are in the darkness as well?
Yeah, here you.
So we need to be, Isaiah 60, we need to be those who shine in the midst of the darkness. And that means, like the labor pains, I think during the labor pain process, before the Great Tribulation, there is going to be persecution that we all experience. And, it's holding fast to that, holding fast.
Yeah,
It's
see, I've
good,
got
it's like-
confirmation.
It's longer than-
Confirmation that it's better.
It is.
I even
right?
shaved it down some. It was like a little. It was like it's trying to come out longer, and
See,
it wasn't. It was too inconsistent.
I hate shaving, but I am also like not redhead with ginger, so red and white. All I need is some blue, and I'm kind of my dad when he passed, I think about 3 weeks before he passed, I was talking to him, and I think these are his last words to me, were that you're the dirtiest looking pastor that I have ever seen because of my beard. You're looking for that sort of profound last moment, but it was, yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, my mom was saying that when it all grew out, she's like, "Man, you look at your dad," like because my dad had his was salt and pepper, all
Yeah.
the way through, and then toward the end it was more and more gray. But I've grown the sides out, but the sides are like so silver.
Really?
When you're looking at me straight on, it doesn't look like I have it.
Yeah.
It just looks like silver. And then I'm like, that looks terrible, man. I look like a silverback gorilla or something. I don't know. Like the kids, they call us like you and I, we'd be called
Oh yeah, I think you told me this. Back, is it? No, or
silverback?
yeah,
No,
something like that.
broadback. I don't know, something like a gorilla, like a lowland gorilla, something, but it's like a.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought about it. And I was like, that's kind of true.
Well, somebody says we both look great, so I'm taking that.
Don't give it to him, man. Don't give it to him. Let's see here. Does anyone know if there's a Rapture kit is out? If the new Rapture kit is out? Man, that's a Scott Townsend question. The Rapture kit stuff. I can't remember his website.
No.
Scott Townsend. I have to look it up. His is Scott Townsend. He does. Yeah, here it is. IamAWatchman.substack.com or I Am Watchman. Let's see. Substack. All right, are we on? Hey, good morning. Wait,
Fade to black. So there
Fade
must.
to-
I think there'll be a lag. Will there not?
there'll be a lag probably. Let's see if it says it's still going.
Well, if the comments are still coming in, well, yeah, they are. There you are. Yeah, we're up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm back on. It's crazy is that I was telling Gary here that so the new laptop I'm still trying to get used to. They put the the airplane mode, like right up there by the backspace. I mean, it is like guaranteed that I'm going to be, so in the future, you'll know what happens. I'm going to accidentally be typing something. I'm going to hit that airplane mode. I need to put like a tape or like a thumbtack on it so that I can't touch it or something.
Somebody's just asked where are my glasses. I actually thought they were there for a second. I don't know now.
I can't, man. I get seriously. I get anxiety if I walk around. If I forget my glasses,
Yeah.
I'm like, crap. No, I can't see anything.
This is why my daughter's with me, you see. So she carries everything because,
She's got a purse.
yeah, well, I just put something down and just walk off. So that's including my wallet.
Well, that is too funny.
Right. I'll
Right
do
on.
another question if there is one. And then
Yeah, you can punch out if you need to.
I want to catch the end of Brandon's. So
Oh, is he on? He's on right now. Yeah.
I think he is.
Let's see. Any new questions for Pastor Gary before he goes? I don't see anything here. Let's see. Pastor Gary, do you ever get on Discord? Do you ever get on and do the live stream on there?
I've never done a live stream on Discord. To be honest, like the guys all set up Discord for me, but I still don't understand it. So I click on and I see a whole load of notifications on the side, but I'm not exactly sure what to do with them. I'm not exactly sure. It takes me, I find it all very confusing. Thank you for coming and answering questions. Great, I'll take that. That's the time to go.
Jet lag real bad for you.
Yeah, it's been okay. I think that when we go to Vegas, we're going to get 2 hours behind again. So, like, I'm waking up at 4 at the minute, except for today. Today was the only day I actually slept late. And I think that was simply because we were here late last night. So,
yeah, you can. I'd say while yet still today. That's hard to say.
are we? Yeah, it is. Are we being invited to ask Pastor Gary a theological question?
Only the most difficult, hard, complicated questions that you like the ones.
And then that's when I go
can't-
tag.
And then I'll hit the airplane mode again. I almost hit it joking around there. Oh my gosh, that's a dangerous
There's a
button.
question there. I just saw it. There's a couple of
Oh.
questions come up. Does Gary think the tribulation will happen soon, considering the harsh legislation Starmer wants to pass? Well, my focus isn't on the tribulation. My focus is on the harpazo, the rapture. That's obviously what we're waiting for. In terms of the stuff that we're seeing with Starmer, and not just Starmer, but actually the whole of Europe. So I was saying yesterday about Christine Lagarde came out, the head of the European Central Bank, and she said that Europe now needs to displace or supplant the American dollar as the reserve currency, which isn't going to happen. But what it's showing me is that Europe is intent on setting themselves up devoid of the rest of the world. And then I think back, there was this, in June, there was the meeting of champions in China, it's a World Economic Forum meeting there. And they had on these major, like, top economists around the world. And they were all talking about the New World Order. And it's funny that they get to talk about it, yet if we talk about it, we get it censored or thing come up on YouTube usually. But they were talking about this NWO economically. And this panel all came to the same sort of conclusion, that the emerging economies, or the major economies, will be America, China, which isn't sort of shocker. But then they proposed that there will be a third pole in the New World Order, and that will be the European Union. And when you go into what they were saying, it's really interesting because it sort of shows you what's happening now. America, they says, will have an isolationist sort of stroke, self-determining economy, right? Focusing on self, tariffs, that type of thing, to make sure that the American economy grows. So it's a nationalistic economy structure. China, before the sort of shift into AI started, started to have pre-industrialization, so they will have an industrialized economy in this NWO. This is their words, right? It says the European Union is left without major options, but the major option that it has is totalitarianism, right? Because even people like Larry Fink, who we mentioned before, he said that the markets love a dictatorship because democracy is messy. With a dictatorship, you know what's happening. Then at the same time, you start to see all of these policies come around Europe. We can't get in through Europe without fingerprinting system, without scanners or anything like that. You've got the European Central Bank building up. You've got the European Digital ID. You've also not just got the European Digital ID, you've got the European Digital Services Act, just like we've got the Online Safety Act back in the UK. And like I shared about, I think it was the start of September, we couldn't access for 3 weeks BibleGateway.com. It was shut down. And then when you went in to find out what it was shut down all around Europe, the answer that you were given was because of the European Digital Services Act and the Online Safety Act.
Mm.
Now, something's happened behind the scenes to allow that back on. I don't know if they've rejigged things or whatever, but it shows me that Europe is moving towards that reconstituted Roman Empire state. And they seem to all have this urgency about them, about moving in that direction. So I don't know if the tribulation is soon, but when I see that, that's a sign for me to go, hold on a minute, somebody putting up their Christmas lights, Christmas is coming soon. There's it's a proximity alert, as I would say.
And I was going to ask you this before you go, since you're European, do you consider yourself European?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you live in that
Yeah, I don't.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't see people getting on board with the EU. Like, nobody's excited about it. Nobody's excited about Brussels running things. Nobody's excited about other than the people that are directly going to benefit from it. But everybody else, the regular population, are not on board. They don't care. They either don't care, don't know, or they just, they're not a fan of it.
But the structure of it allows for it.
But to me, it seems like for them, the way they're going to have to sell this is they're going to have to rebrand this as the new Roman Empire, or it's like the third coming of the Roman Empire, or whatever they call it. And when they bring that back, I think the young people today would, by and large, man, they would be all about this. There's
certainly
like a rebranding for that, like just like Brussels did their Tower of Babel, style structure for their thing. There was initially a desire for that, and then we got into all the different treaties, and it became very bureaucratic, and everybody's like, everybody tuned out. But imagine if they came back in and said, hey, instead of calling this the European Union, we're going to call this Rome 2.0 or whatever, whatever the name is. And I think that there would be excitement for people that they were going to bring something back like that. Like in the military, the U.S. Army, one of the big pushes they had a few years ago was to bring back the old World War II style uniforms.
Okay, yeah.
And it was very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, it's retro, I guess, bringing this idea about what is Europe? What are they best known for historically throughout time? It's been these great kingdoms and empires, and the chief of which was the Roman Empire. And that's the way I see it. It's going to go viral. They're going to rebrand this thing. And I would even go so far, and this will be after Gog and Magog. I think Gog and Magog is going to drain Europe of a lot of the Muslims that are there.
It'll certainly be a catalyst for change.
Yeah. So I think that they're going to try and tap back into their roots of greatness by leaning back into that Roman identity.
And it's interesting, the structure of Europe, in the sense, like, you've got Ursula von der Leyen, and she doesn't require a national vote to be in the position that she's in. She gets a vote in Brussels, and yet the way it works, because it's a Eurocentric policy-making machine, bureaucracy machine, it makes policies that then filters down the European lines to the national geographical areas. So it's already sort of set up as a model. And I do think there will be a rebrand. And I do think at the same time, because you've got this move within Europe towards digital IDs and all of that. You've got this move in the UK towards digital IDs. Where the UK is slightly different is that we have, in theory, removed ourselves from Europe. However, when you look at Keir Starmer and you look at his policies, they're all doing the same sort of thing. You've got Keir Starmer, there was 2.7 or 2.8 million people signed a petition to remove the concept of digital IDs off the table. However, if it gets if it reaches 100,000, they're meant to be heard in Parliament. And his reaction to it was, they actually came out on October 2nd and said, basically, we've heard your complaints about this, but we're doing this.
Acknowledged and ignored.
That's it. And Europe's doing the same thing. So they've got this idea of elitism that we'll make the policies, we'll do what we want, and you will go along with it. And I think it's purposeful. And to go back to that question before, I think all of this shows, again, a major proximity alert to the time frame that we're in.
Yeah. I can see a really what I think Europe is really looking for right now to tie Europe together and bring Europe together is a European Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Strong leader that is pro 100%, mega, right? Make Europe great again kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he is going to
movement.
a populist, but underneath that populist movement is going to be the all the nuances of the EU that's going to be kind of slid in there.
Yeah.
Just like inside of MAGA, you have the figurehead Trump, you have his top men and women that are in his administration that are equally of themselves popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's a broad, a big tent with, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, JD Vance, and all these guys and gals that have connections through the tech world and through finance and through health and all this other stuff. So they're going to look for a European Donald Trump style guy that is populist in name, but underneath him, the people that are orchestrating stuff, they're going to push things through that are going to seem great for Europe and terrible for the rest of the world. But they're going to be great for Europe. And I think that they are going to, they see the success that Trump has had and they want to mirror that and mimic that.
Well, let me ask you this. So I'll ask you a question, right? We've got this peace deal, this ceasefire, peace in the Middle East, peace for the ages, all of this, right? Now, we look at Daniel 9:27 and we get the Hebrew word abar, that actually what the future Antichrist comes along and does is he confirms this or affirms this. So could that be the peace that is set up by the US is then picked up by someone in Europe, this populist leader?
Yes, I think that so look at how quickly that Donald Trump gravitates towards particular leaders in Europe that are bucking the system, like Viktor Orban, Meloni, Italy, what's her name? Prime Minister Meloni. Even the guy in Argentina, but not in Europe. But any of these populist leaders, he gravitates towards very quickly. And I think that they also see the common sense in it. So the difference between the Abraham Accords versus the Oslo Accords or any other peace treaty that they've tried to do is that they're not looking for peace. They're just looking for normalization. Hey, can we normalize relationships from the top down between our countries? And I think if we do it at the top, then the people at the bottom will start to follow suit. And that's kind of the idea behind it. And that's generally how things kind of work, either at the grass level or the top. Forcing a peace treaty on a system that doesn't want it's never worked.
Yeah.
But now they're saying, hey, we're not talking peace. We're just talking normal trade, normal business, normal travel, just normalizing, at least acknowledge that we exist as a people and as a country. And so they're looking at it from a very pragmatic standpoint. And so I think that Europe can easily pick up on that. Now, a caveat to that would be after Gog and Magog, and I've said this numerous times that it's a crusades in the reverse where the Muslims are coming from all four corners marching on Israel. But now you have what's left over in Europe is, it's like it's kind of like how I felt, like when you lose 60 pounds, you feel like a different person. You're not carrying all that extra weight anymore. Now Europe's not going to be carrying all this extra baggage of all these militant Muslim males who hate them, hate their society, hate their culture. That's all going to be vacated. I think that will renew and revive something within Europe to rise. And I think that whoever that populist leader will be will ride that wave into it.
Do you want to ask?
Hey, Ken, come here.
So live stream here, come on, right?
I'm living right now. If you want to jump in,
We had there was a question before about the
Essenes.
calendar.
Oh, okay.
We thought
I'm
we
ignorant.
Oh, okay.
Just real quick. So what was
Yes.
the question on the Essenes? It was the Jubilee, right?
yes. I think it was the fella came along. Was it him that brought it up, or was it someone online?
I thought it was somebody online about the beginning of this last Jubilee.
Oh yes, the last Jubilee.
Most of the things happened at the beginning of the Jubilee rather than at the end, like when Christ.
Yeah, isn't that correct? As in like the 25 AD to 75 AD, that Jubilee, that the majority of, like, let's say, prophetic miracles, the ministry of Christ, the birth of the church, all happened toward the beginning element.
A lot of that stuff. Well, he was born before that, but he started his ministry the first Shemitah, first 7-year period of that last Jubilee. We're probably going to have the same. Well, we got a lot of stuff to happen yet. That has a Gog-Magog war, destruction of Syria, colonizing of the Negev, taking of Golan Heights, Bashan, which is already done, taking of southern Lebanon, taking of the Gilead. So there's all that stuff that happens sometime in this next 50 year period.
The temple has to be
Yeah,
rebuilt.
temple has to
The
be
two
rebuilt.
witnesses, 144,000. The rise of Babylon, something that supersedes or supplants the U.S. in terms of that to me that's the logistics. That's the military side of me, like thinking, I know that you can have this great army, and I know it says that this army goes from here to there, but the logistics of getting that army from here to there is a lot more than just, words on paper. Making it happen is very difficult. And
It
It doesn't happen in one day.
yeah, it doesn't happen
Is it
one day.
going to be a spiritual Babylon, or is it going to be like another nation? I know some people think somewhere in America, like New York and stuff, or is it going to be, in your opinion, both of you, is it going to be the Babylon of old re-emerged?
I don't think so. I think it's the Babylonian mystery religion. And we've got some Dead Sea Scrolls that talk about there are two anti-Semitic powers in the end times, one headquartered in Rome, Italy, one headquartered south of Israel, whose symbol is a crescent moon. And somehow factions from those come together to form the mystery Babylon. So something like Abraham Accords going into a Chris bomb type thing, which hasn't really formed yet, but it's apparently getting there.
You wrote about that in God the Seer?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things.
Well, we posted your channel on the chat here, and this is we're also promoting the Prophecy Watchers live stream, so we put the link on there for this. And then just as people were coming by, tell them to feel free to stop in. And
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody.
so I met Ken about 4 years ago. I met you in Colorado. It was the first time I ever
believe
met
so.
you. Yeah, and I was like, man, that guy is so nice, so cool.
I'm going to nip in the back and see the
Okay.
end of Brandon's. Sure.
Okay, so what's going on? What are you talking about this weekend?
Oh, we're talking about there's been some Hebrew versions of the New Testament. And there's been a few that have been around that everybody thinks are just medieval. We found a couple of versions that date back to probably around 200. And so we translated First and Second Thessalonians,
Oh wow,
which is basically just like our Greek, but it's got a few extra words, a few extra sentences.
did it clear up the apostasia issue?
I think so. Yeah. Made it very clear that the restrainer is the church. Us. It says that in 3 separate places. Talks about the timing of the rapture and what it's for, which you don't notice. You don't really notice it in the Greek version.
Hopefully, I'm not speaking the same time you're speaking, so I can come watch your.
I'm not sure.
I don't have the calendar.
4 or 4:30 today.
I'm at 5:15. I
Okay.
think so. I can check yours out right before I go on.
If not, they're going to be online and there's
Yeah,
DVDs and
yeah.
stuff.
So, what else is going on with your ministry? Anything? New?
Right now, we're focusing on the rest of those scrolls. We're working on putting together the general epistles.
Okay.
which has, like Peter has a little more prophecy stuff in it. So
What is your thoughts on the Septuagint chronology? And obviously, they would have had the year, the 6,000th year would have been around the 500s, the time of the Byzantine Empire.
right.
But other than the chronology being off, obviously, I mean, we're still here 1,500 years later.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on, because that was the Bible, my understanding, that was the Bible that Jesus used and the apostles used, the Septuagint?
Yeah, but there were different versions of it. There's an original Septuagint, and then there were at least 3 copies that cults made and started editing things out.
Okay.
Just like we have our New Testament, the received text, and cults came along and edited some things out.
The JWs and the LDS. And,
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you
Yeah.
got the same thing apparently from some of the Hebrew sources too. There's
Yeah.
shorter and longer versions.
Now, are you familiar with Tim Chaffee from Answers in Genesis?
A little bit.
Or I guess, yeah, I think he's on Answers. He had a book called The Fallen, the Sons of God and the Nephilim, and there was a word in there in Genesis 6:3 talking about how when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, that word "when" in the Hebrew, I think it's Asher, and it can also mean whenever. And when you change that word to whenever, when you read that passage and read whenever instead of when, it clears things up so much that, it answers a lot of questions in terms of why these guys reappear after the flood. And I know I'm jumping all over, I'm frequency hopping on all these different topics, but for me, it cleared it up. So you doing this work on these older, what were the years again for the translations?
There's a bunch of medieval ones, but some of these things are quoted by church fathers around 200.
Oh, wow.
So they were at least available at that point.
Yeah, that's insane. Because the Masoretic text was from the 1100s.
Yeah, Masoretic actually is put together around 700 to 800.
700 to 800.
Because that's when they put the vowel points.
Okay, got you. Maybe I'm thinking of when they added chapter and verse. That was 13, 14
Yeah,
centuries.
14, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, I don't want to hold you up, but what else is going on? You got any more conferences beyond today, or what's the next thing?
We're done for the year. We're going to stay and work on translating the general epistles and moving forward.
Yeah.
We want to eventually get Romans to Revelation.
Okay.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, the Second Thessalonian thing, I'm pretty excited to read that or hear that, because that's where that's going to answer. That should help solve the.
Even if you think it's commentary tacked on by someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, worst case scenario, somebody back in the 2nd century was a pre-trib rapture.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So Wooden Darby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. So I know.
Well, thanks for having me answer some questions.
Yeah, and I know you were just walking by, and we just totally grabbed you. Hey, come here. So, anyways, thanks for coming on, and appreciate you, brother.
We'll have to do it again soon.
Well, absolutely. So, that is exciting. That is totally exciting. I am very much looking forward to hearing about this, because that will definitely answer, at least address some questions that people have had on their mind for a long time regarding 2 Thessalonians, regarding the word apostasia, whether it means a physical departure or spiritual departure. And it'll be interesting to see the pushback that the critics, of course, we always have the critics will come out and say, oh, you can't know this, you can't know that. So, hello.
Don't mind if I take the picture.
Oh, let me take my spectacles off.
I watch you with John Haller.
John Howell, yeah.
Yeah, on the Prophecy Roundtables.
Yes.
He's from Columbus as well, so that's where I'm from.
Oh, nice, nice. You been to his church?
He used to actually be part of the church that I'm in. He left and took it part of our church with him, but I still watch him.
Hey, he's good people.
I'm a little more on his bent, but I'm on Stafford.
Gotcha.
It's good. It's all good. We're all part of the same body.
Anything? I'm heading up to Mexico. Can I get you anything while I'm down here?
No, I'm gonna go about another 12 minutes, and then I gotta do something at 11. So, but yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. See you guys at 11:45. Hit Hideaway Pizza. Okay. I think we're meeting in the lobby. reminds me. I need to hey, we're going to get pizza at 11:45, so y'all be ready by then. And then let me see if I can get so I'm trying to get one more person over here to do jump on the live stream real quick. A fella named Chris Gaucher, who's putting together the prophecy conference in Mississippi. So I wanted him to talk a little bit about that. And if you haven't, that conference, I'm totally a huge fan of going there. It is it's for one thing, the hotel, the whole area there is just beautiful, but it's the sessions, because it's, just the three of us speaking, well, the four of us with Chris, that we can go longer in the sessions. There'll be about, I don't know, 45 or not 45 minutes. It'll be about an hour and 15 minutes per speaker. So, you can go through your slides and go through, and you don't feel as rushed. But I like that they have all the speakers here. This is, it's just a different kind of venue. Let's see. Oh, I'm just texting everybody to. I got Chris. Just waiting on Chris to come by. No, I already texted him. He's coming. So, get back to the chat here. I'm live streaming right now. You want to jump in? There's a lot of critics here in the chat too. They're everywhere, guys. Yeah, there's always going to be critics, and you can't ever make everybody happy all the time. If you did, you'd be like a Joel Osteen type guy. Hey, come jump in. All right. So Chris Gaucher, wife Kathy, his lovely wife Kathy. So they are putting on the conference in Mississippi May 2nd.
May 2nd next year.
Yeah, and it's what's the link? The prophecy conference.
Prophecy.ms.
Prophecy.ms. And I'm not going to type anything because the last time I typed something, I accidentally hit the airplane button and it kicked everything off. So I'm like paranoid about touching the keyboard now. So prophecy.ms. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And
we've got a draft schedule out there already. Looking forward to having everybody who can make it. Tom Hughes, Alex Newman, and Pete Garcia. He's coming back.
Yes.
Be a wonderful time. Our little tagline is watching for our blessed hope. And that's what we're all about. It's not about us. It's about the Lord and giving him honor and glory. And what I think is we're running out of runway. So you know what I mean? So we're trying to get as many people interested in Mississippi. We don't really have a whole lot of discussion or talk from the pulpit about current hot button events or topics. So that's what we cover. And we have some of the best speakers. This guy right here is wonderful. I just listened 2 hours to you on the way over here about the current setup for some of the Civil War type stuff that might be going on here in the near future. And I think you're spot on.
I think there's a lot of parallels with what happened then, and you could see the buildup from 1820, probably even before 1820, but from 1820 forward. It wasn't like it wasn't just the election of Abraham Lincoln. That was the point I was getting to.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many things that led to it, and the polarization that took place in the U.S. at that time. It's on steroids now. Look how polarized we are now, even within our own parties, even within our own sections.
Absolutely.
Like within the liberal section, the progressives, the Marxists, the socialists. I mean, they're divided like crazy, and they're all chasing their own agendas. The conservatives were also divided over a lot of different things, and Israel is becoming that dividing line
Absolutely.
that is really, unfortunately, separating even Christian evangelical conservatives.
Yeah.
It's
Israel is one of the main hot buttons, and I know we just came out of a Brandon Holthouse meeting, and he did a great job. He did a great job of bringing that up. You know, you're going to see these dividing lines, and where people stand in this time of Laodicea, we'll basically figure out whether or not they're a wheat or a tare. You know.
Well, look, my channel, Rev 310, I will never apologize for supporting Israel. I know they're not perfect. I know Netanyahu's not perfect. And I know that they are like every other nation right now. They all need to come to Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior in this dispensation.
Absolutely.
And Olivier Melnick has said, you know, we know that in the Zechariah, it talks about that 2/3 will go through the fire and perish, but 1/3 will be brought through. But we can affect that percentage right now. We can obviously affect what that percentage is. So that it behooves us to share the gospel with the Jews, with Israel, but also support them and also get their back and make sure that they know that they have support from at least this section of Christianity and within Christendom, that we support them and stand with them as God's covenant people.
So we heard last night that same figure. 2/3 are going to perish during that time. Right now, we have a window where we can, as a church, you know, show the love of Jesus. We worship the King of the Jews. You know, they're like, you know, and we have a ministry of what would they call it? A ministry of jealousy.
Oh yeah,
actually,
yeah.
And it's not that we want to make them jealous, but it's something the Holy Spirit does when we love the Lord, who is the King of the Jews. We support Israel, and then we'll not what?
Yeah.
You know, Kathy and I were at do you have time to share that story?
Yeah.
Kathy and I were at an event in our local area in Madison recently, at like a flower event, gardens and that type of thing. And one of these ladies known as Garden Mama on the network. She's real popular. And so everybody goes to her, and a guy named Felder rushing for advice about plants and how they grow and everything. Well, I was wearing this shirt. Oh, here, baby. I was wearing this shirt that said, "Shofar so good." It had a big shofar on it. And this was right before Rosh Hashanah. You know, we were just walking around, and so this lady goes, "Hey, I like your shirt." And I said, "Oh," and it was Garden Mama. So we walked over there, and we said, you know, "How you doing? We love this time." And Kathy said, "Are you Jewish?" She said, "Yes, I am. I've got the matzo balls and the chicken soup on the stove and all this stuff. And I've got to go and do that as soon as I get off this event." Well, we told her we were Christian Zionists. She goes, "Oh, I don't agree with what they're doing over there," you know. And then her husband came over. I guess he thought we were trying to, you know, witness to her or something. So he got pretty defensive. But what we did was we basically showed that we love the Lord, who is you know, the Jewish King, and it's raising awareness in our local area between us and this lady who, of course, we have interests that are common.
Yeah.
And then we've got this button heads figure, you know, but now we've got a relationship with her online, and you know, besides talking about angel trumpets, we can now talk about when that real trumpet sounds.
I have a theory. It's purely a theory, but I tend to think that if the rapture is going to happen, my favorite time of the year for me is during the summertime. So between the feast, somewhere between the Pentecost or Shavuot and Tish B'Av, my thought is that it would for the Jews that are paying attention, the Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, and really any Jews that are tuned into the religion and the calendar and the events of their history, they would see that all of these Christians who had been supporting them for a large part, now are all gone on this one day that typically was a day associated with their own national tragedy.
Right.
And that would somehow trigger something in their mind, like, why did it happen on that day? And what's the significance? So it's just a theory. I mean,
the 9th of Av.
Yeah, the 9th of Av.
So that's at the end of the 3-week period of mourning for the Jews. And one of the things the God says in Zechariah 8 is that he's going to take that day, which is the fast, the 5th month. You have the fast of the 4th, 5th, 7th, and 10th months in Zechariah 8. He's going to flip it, make it a time of great joy for his people.
Yeah.
So one way, and we're the temple now.
Yeah.
So that has some, I'm leaning more toward Arnold Fruchtenbaum's Feast of Trumpets.
Feast of Trumpets,
You know, but one of the other things about that is that if we're gone and we're the temple, then they're talking about the temple on that day.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty interesting date you got kind of zeroed in there.
Yeah. Well, I had heard that from this guy, blanking on his name, Greg Lauer, I think was his name. He had an article came out years ago,
Right.
and he did talk about the temple and how the first temple was destroyed in like 587 on Tish B'Av, the second temple 70 AD Tish B'Av,
Yeah.
and now the church. Oh, it was the article is called "A Pattern with a Hole in It," and so you have the first two Tish B'Avs where the temples are destroyed, and then you have now if the rapture happened on a Tish B'Av, that the temple, who is now the church, now they are gone, and that would be like a wake-up call for the Jews that are paying attention. They're like, oh, this means something,
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like the reverse of what the church has been doing here as the last 15, 20 years, where every time there's a blood moon on a feast date or whatever, we got all excited about that.
Yeah.
We're thinking rapture, but instead it's kind of reversed, where no, this is actually the Jews are now going to see something that impacted the church on one of their holy days, and then it impacts their, at least their awakening,
Right.
or at least being conscientious of what just took place on this particular day. So,
Gotcha. Another thing is, there's a phased approach from what we see in Scripture. I don't know how fast it's going to be, but we do get an idea that the dead in Christ rise first.
Yeah.
We don't know how much there's going to be a delay between the dead in Christ rise first, and then those which remain will be caught up together to meet the Lord in the air, in that rapture concept. So I would even say that it could be possible that the dead in Christ rise on Tish B'Av, and then the Christians are taken on Tishri 1 or 2, maybe a little bit later.
that would be
And
interesting.
Tishri 3 is the fast of the 7th month in Zechariah 8 for the Jews.
Yeah.
And so I call that the V8 moment. The old V8, I should have had a V8.
Yeah.
So if Christians are taken, and maybe even a phased approach, we don't know, if they're taken during those times, then on Tishri 3, which is for the Jews, those that remain who have been exposed to the gospel and the fact that the rapture may happen soon, if you're talking to them, that light bulb goes off, and then you've got 144,000 Jewish evangelists, just as a minimum, 12,000 from each tribe, and then others that have been exposed, because they're going to miss a rapture. They may have been exposed to the gospel, but they may not have latched on and taken that next step and trusted Christ.
I was driving up with Stan here, and two of my daughters came with me, and I had one of those light bulb moments, and I was just thinking, like, we keep talking about the church. When we talk about the church in this dispensation, this age of the last 2,000 years,
Right.
We identify ourselves as the church or the bride of Christ. We don't really call ourselves saints a whole lot. And if you go to the Catholic Church tends to think of saints as like people that have been sainted, that of high stature, like Mother Teresa, or a
Right.
particular pope, or a guy that was martyred back in the 5th century or whatever. They call those guys saints, but they don't think of themselves as like everyday saints kind of thing. But the only group of people that identify themselves pretty routinely all the time as saints are, take it, wild guess, the Mormons, the Latter-day Saints, right?
Yeah.
And they are gonna miss the rapture because they don't believe in the Jesus of the Bible. And I think of all the kinds of Christians that could be left behind, they're probably the most well suited, because a lot of them are preppers and a lot of them are very self-sufficient, and that's how the church has taught them, inculcated them throughout, going back to Joseph Smith, because they've always been like this outside group, and they've had to grow up and develop Utah, when there was nothing but desert. And so I'm wondering if that is a group of people after the rapture, because right now they're pretty blinded to the gospel, the true gospel,
Absolutely.
that salvation is by grace through faith, not of works. You can't earn it, which kind of goes against their own Mormon gospel. But if you get a guy like Glenn Beck, let's say the rapture happened today and he was broadcasting, and he notices, like, all these Christians now are gone. All these people are gone. And by the way, all these people happen to be like Christians. and he's still left behind. So he could either go and buy into the great delusion that he is that the aliens took us or whatever, or he could have that aha moment and wake up like, oh man, the rapture was true. None of all my Mormon friends are still answering their phone. They're answering their emails. Let me call some evangelical people. Like, let me call Amir Sarfati. Like, can't get him. Can't whoever he's friends with that are Christian, born again Christians. And to me, that might be a wake up call for them. And I think that they might play a role in this great soul harvest that happens on the other side of the rapture. But it hit me that they're the only group in Christendom right now that really identifies themselves as saints, and they get offended if you call them Mormon, but if they call themselves LDS, I'm a Latter-day Saint.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought, I wonder if there's anything to that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud.
They're also pretty good in genealogy, so they've got a record of who might be still left behind, that type of thing.
Yeah, they're great in genealogy. So hey, I'm gonna let's see, what time is it? It's 11:04, guys. I am going to cut the live stream here. I've got some stuff I got to take care of between now and 11:45. If you're going to meet us for pizza, it's Hideaway Pizza. It's down the road here in Norman, Oklahoma. If not, then I don't know if I'll live stream again today, but I will live stream again tomorrow, probably for about 2 hours as well. So a lot of this is for people that can't come or they couldn't afford the live stream, but also kind of bringing in people and saying, hey, who's available, who could talk, and promoting the live stream as well.
That's great. It's great. Well, we love you, brother. We're going to run in here to bridge your last deal.
Okay, man.
All right. Great seeing you, guys. Man. All right. Y'all have a good time. See you.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. In Revelation 1 is a porkopolis pizza. Okay, guys. Yeah. Take care, and God bless you all. And again, tomorrow I'll have some folks on. I'll try and get some different folks on because obviously Gary will be gone tomorrow. But I missed some of the questions, guys. I apologize. I'll have to go back and answer those. Yep. All right, guys. Take care. God bless you, and we will see you soon.